Namaste. Welcome to the Morning Assembly. Today is 11 June 2020. Let's get started with the morning prayers.
मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मयी उतरो। मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मयी उतरो। कहाँ यहाँ देवों का नंदन, मलयाचल का अभिनव चंदन। कहाँ यहाँ देवों का नंदन, मलयाचल का अभिनव चंदन। मेरे उर के उजड़े वन में करुणामय विचरो। तेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मयी उतरो। मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मयी उतरो। नहीं कहीं कुछ मुझ में सुंदर, काजल सा काला ये अंतर। नहीं कहीं कुछ मुझ में सुंदर, काजल सा काला ये अंतर। प्राणों के गहरे गहवर में ममता मई विहरो। मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मयी उतरो। मेरे मन के अंध तमस में ज्योतिर्मयी उतरो।
Now, Devit and Devansh will pass on some information about our theme racism.
Racism, What basically is racism? Racism is the belief in the superiority of one race over another, which often results in discrimination and prejudice towards people based on their race or ethnicity.
There are many types of racism, but we have chosen to talk about racism by skin color, as it is prolonged and the most occurring type of racism.
How does racism affect the society and how does it create chaos? These effects are clearly seen in the society in the recent times due to the George Floyd case. Fear and hatred among the people, as due to some of the racist police officers, the name of the whole department is ruined. And as the name of the whole department is ruined, the government needs to take some action against the department. And if they do not take the action, the people might lose trust from the government. Secondly, suicide. Connecting to the George Floyd case, black people will start to feel unsafe in their own cities because people are getting arrested and murdered for no reasons, and there is no action taken against them. And thirdly, unity. As people will stand with each other, as we are seeing in the news all around the US, as there are protests going all over the country to serve justice to George Floyd, and also people are ensuring this incident does not happen again in the future.
On May 25th, Minneapolis police officers arrested George Floyd, a 46-year-old African American man, after a convenience store employee called 911 and told the police that Mr. Floyd had bought cigarettes with a counterfeit $20 bill. The police arrived at the store and arrested him. Videos that are uploaded on the internet show that George Floyd did not resist the arrest, and despite that, 4 police officers from the Minneapolis Police Department pinned him down on the ground. One of them, an officer named Derek Chauvin, pressed his knee against George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, because of which he was unable to breathe and became unconscious. The video showed that Chauvin did not remove his knee from George Floyd's neck even after he became unconscious, and for 1 full minute after the paramedics arrived. Unfortunately, George Floyd died minutes before he reached the hospital. Recently, there have been many violent and peaceful protests in the United States of America and across the world. The case of George Floyd has not been the first case like this, where a person is harmed or killed due to his race. This case has sparked these protests as George Floyd's repeated cry for help, "I can't breathe," while being restrained, prompted comparisons between the incident and the death of Eric Garner in 2014. Garner, an unarmed African American man, had uttered the same words 11 times as he was held in chokehold by a police officer in New York City before he died.
The second example is Eric Garner case. Eric Garner was arrested on a suspicion of illegal selling loose cigarettes on 17 July 2014. Bystanders filmed the arrest on their cell phones, recording Mr. Garner as he gasped, "I can't breathe." And his death was one of the several fatal encounters between black people and the police. The jury declined to indict the police officer Daniel Pantaleo, who was captured on a video wrapping his arm around Mr. Garner's neck. The federal civil rights investigation dragged on for 5 years, to which finally the decision was made not to charge the officer with the civil rights violation. How to work against racism? There are 2 ways in which we can work against racism, and they are political and personal. In political way, we can do peaceful protests, which are currently going on in the United States, and we can do conferences all around the world. And in the personal ways, we can take a pledge against the racial discrimination on the website for the World Against Racism, and we can donate for a good cause. This is a short video about 2 toddlers hugging each other even though they are of different skin color. This video indeed proves us that racism is not taught to us, but it is the society that makes us change our perspective.
My friend, you are just adorable.
Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. By Martin Luther King Jr.
Now, Mehek Parekh from IB2 will recite the poem Privilege.
Privilege by Sean Raft. Privilege is being able to say all lives matter, while living out the day, while being without fear, while breathing without care, as another struggles for air. They deflect from injustice, they remove from confrontation. Those three words, just a vicious reaction to those who simply want to be treated as human. Privilege is being able to wake up without the constant dread in the back of your head. Privilege is being able to write this without knowing how dangerous it is to just breathe, to just be. Passive discomfort isn't an excuse for silence. Potential confrontation isn't an excuse for injustice. Privilege is being able to choose to do nothing. But yet, you tell yourself those three words. All lives matter. Because you don't have to care. Because you don't have to fear. They serve as a blanket shielding you from the grim reality that dares to change your ideals. Disingenuous at best, irreparably harmful at worst. That's privilege. We see the faces, we hear the voices, but yet we choose silence because it soothes. And it's long past time that we convert comfort into confrontation. Privilege is being able to decide that you don't have to decide. And that's what power can buy. Thank you.
So, talking about racism is a topic which is very well known nowadays, as the George Floyd incident that happened in USA has made many people know what is the issue, and has made people step up and talk more about this topic. So what I feel racism is basically that it's a social idea or a thought that people usually carry to just discriminate one due to his or her skin color. Usually a darker skin color person is discriminated, and on the other side, when I try to search that what are the different kinds of races that exist in the world, I found out that there is only one race that exists in the world, which is the human race. And after reading this, I came up that racism is basically just a mindset that is usually taught to a person or is learned by a person by knowing that what is more accepted in the society or what carries more value in the society. And I also feel that the biggest issue over here is that the person who is being discriminated doesn't usually voice out, and also the person who is being discriminated is surrounded by people who are quite ignorant to this topic and do not try to help the person when he is being discriminated by a racist. And I also feel that currently this topic has brought a lot of change in the world, and people are voicing out. Thus this problem, I don't think so will stay for a long time. So now finally, before ending today's assembly, I would like to tell that we have a Google form planned for you all, and we'd like you to answer the questions that are asked in the Google form, as it will help us know that what have you learned from today's assembly.
Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience. Have a great day ahead.